Accurate data is the cornerstone of successful marketing. Without it, you can't understand your customer's journey, personalize their experience, or connect marketing and sales efforts effectively. A well-integrated CRM not only stores this data, but empowers you to automate processes, predict behavior, and drive smarter, faster decisions that lead to real revenue growth. That's a quote from Sam Anderson, CEO and co-founder of Origin 63, and a sneak peek of today's episode. Welcome to Revenue Boost, a marketing podcast where business leaders turn for actionable strategies to fuel growth and drive results. I'm your host, Carrie Curran, and with over 20 years of marketing agency experience driving client business growth, I now run RBMA, Revenue-Based Marketing Advisors, where we help businesses like yours effectively scale revenue growth. Visit revenuebasedmarketing.com or connect with me on LinkedIn today. In this episode, you'll learn how to maximize the full potential of customer relationship management platforms, or CRM, to unite marketing, sales, and customer success teams, driving revenue growth and operational efficiency. Titled Maximizing Revenue Potential, the Power of CRM and Cross-Functional Collaboration, our special guest is Sam Anderson, the CEO and co-founder of Origin 63, an elite HubSpot partner. Sam shares her expertise on overcoming common CRM challenges, from integrating disconnected tools to leveraging data for smarter insights and personalization at scale. You'll learn how the right CRM setup can enable predictive analytics, streamline workflows, and foster stronger connections with both your prospects and existing customers. So whether you're navigating tight budgets, adapting to industry shifts, or looking to optimize your marketing efforts, this episode offers actionable strategies and real-world examples to help your organization thrive. Don't miss this deep dive into the essential role of CRM in cross-functional collaboration and revenue amplification. Let's go. So welcome, Sam. Please introduce yourself and tell us a bit about your background and expertise.
Absolutely. So I'm Sam Anderson. I'm CEO and co-founder of Origin 63. We're an elite HubSpot partner. So what we do is we support companies in getting up and running with HubSpot, so implementing that software and then learning it back, taking the processes, overlaying it on top of HubSpot, and really making sure their teams are fully adopting and getting all the usability and visibility out of the software. My background, I was a marketer by trade. So funny story, actually. Way back in 2014, I was sent to Inbound, which is HubSpot's big conference every year, on behalf of one of my clients. And I came back and I told my husband, oh my gosh, we have to be HubSpot partners. HubSpot's so cool. Like back then it was all about ROI out of marketing and marketing automation. And we became partners, and it's been 10 years now. We never looked back. And so I was a marketer by trade. I did a lot in the big agency world, started my own marketing agency, became a partner 10 years ago. And that's kind of the history behind it all.
Yeah, that's awesome, Sam. And I know when you and I worked together in a previous role of mine, like you and your team really helped provide that clarity and that connection between the marketing activities and the sales activities, which really was game changing from that perspective. So much value to that aspect of the business, and I can relate to, like, Inbound was like I also left the most recent one thinking, I'm like, what more can I be doing? Yeah. So talk to me about, when you have customers and prospects calling you. I know you have your ear to the ground and kind of the business challenges that are that you have the solution to. So what are they asking you for? What are kind of the challenges they often share with you?
Yeah, absolutely. So, a lot of times when I'm speaking to marketers specifically, they're coming from tools like MailChimp, which doesn't have a lot of automation opportunities, not a lot of time or opportunities to personalize.
Yeah.
And then you've got Marketo and Pardot. So, on the other end of the spectrum, very heavy tools, but kind of behind the times, just really not super usable. It's still kind of that folder system for anybody who's listening who's seen Marketo or Pardot. They're going to laugh because they know exactly what I'm talking about. So usability is really top of mind, first and foremost. They want to be able to utilize the tool quickly and be able to launch their campaigns, launch their assets with very little friction. So that's kind of the first thing. The second thing is just the connectivity of the platform with all the different tools. I think there's a stat out there. I could be misstating this, so I'll just paraphrase, but I'm pretty sure there's something like marketing teams use somewhere around 10 tools to power their whole system. There's no such thing as just one tool now to do everything, right? From social, webinar, blogs, video, etc. There's so many tools. And so a lot of times that's the second thing that's kind of a big pain point is the disconnection of their CRM software with all the other marketing tools.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, kind of the third thing is when all those things are disconnected, they're having trouble with visibility. So I hear a lot about wanting more reports, more analytics to be able to power the overall marketing journey, understand what's working, what's not, and really double down on what's going to give them the biggest return. Because at the end of the day, marketing teams are fighting for that. They need to be able to show results. So if you don't have the analytics because all your tools are broken or you can't like launch your campaign fast enough, it's certainly going to stand in the way of accomplishing that goal. So that's what I hear a lot.
Yeah. And so I know too, like connecting the marketing activities to sales or customer acquisition or even engagement is such an important part. And we were talking about this earlier, it is a tough time for marketing. We're seeing budgets get cut, we're seeing teams get reduced. And we're seeing, one of the challenges I keep seeing is people saying, "Oh, we've hired more SDRs, BDRs, but we're cutting back on marketing," and that's just not the way to lay that foundation to grow that reach and audience connection. So, talk about from your perspective, like how is this a time? We talked about this as a time to lean into marketing. But how are you seeing that kind of in your clients that you're talking to and the brands that you're talking to?
Yeah. So it makes me think of an anecdote that I was told when I was in school many, many, many years ago. But we had a marketing professor that kind of looked at data and looked at during times of economic downturn or just kind of like distress in certain industries, what companies ended up pulling forward, pulling out on top after everything kind of settled. And it was interesting to see that there was a high correlation between those companies that are investing into marketing and really basically doubling down when their competitors are pulling back. And it's a great time to do that because if your competitors are pulling back, that means you're just going to get like a 2x on everything that you're doing from an organization standpoint for the marketing that you are producing, that the dollars that you are investing. And so I think what I see a lot of, especially when times do get tricky or get a little tight, is marketing just doing what marketing does best, which is getting scrappy, like a lot of guerrilla marketing, utilizing partners, finding ways to essentially enhance what they're doing and make it even better or reach more people. And I think that's what's really interesting about the way that marketing automation is moving today is that there's such a large emphasis on personalization at scale. And I think that's where so many marketers are moving over to these new age tools like HubSpot because it's intrinsically built into the software the ability to automate more of those touch points, to be able to infuse more of that personalization into your messaging, whether that's through different workflows that you're building so that people doing certain types of behaviors get certain types of messages, or it's just built into your overall structure in that you're allowing people to kind of opt into certain types of marketing that's going to work best for them, or the topics that work best for them. I think being able to invest your time into what's going to give us the biggest return is going to be the way that these companies, even if they are pulling back, the way that they get the most that they absolutely can out of the investment during these times. But I do think it does go to say that when you look back at like the '08 recession, for example, when you look at some of those companies that did do amazing after the recession was over, they were never pulling back. They kept pushing forward. They just did it in really intentional ways to reach their audience where their audience was at that time.
This episode of Revenue Boost, a marketing podcast, is brought to you by Kriglu. Want to boost customer acquisition while saving time and money? Meet Kriglu, an AI-powered omnichannel bid management platform designed to optimize your ad spend. Kriglu intelligently adjusts bids across channels, ensuring your ads reach the right audience at the lowest cost. Plus, with its automation, you'll free up valuable time to focus on your business. The result? Efficient, cost-effective growth, all while maximizing your marketing budget. Ready to scale smarter and faster? Visit Kriglu.com, Kriglo.com, and start saving today.
No, and definitely, and I've seen that in my own strategies as well. I've tried to do that in my own strategies, I should say, is continue to kind of fill that pipeline, connect with more of your prospects, building those relationships, especially for B2B marketers, where their target audience might only be in market for, they say 95% of B2B buyers are not in market, or only 5% are in market at any given time. So it is that relationship building. And to your point, like being able to continue to invest to fuel your CRM, bring those new prospects into your program so that you can build the relationship and engagement with them over time. I mean, that in itself is one of the big values I've seen, of having that CRM program. So talk a bit more about how the CRM, do specific examples of how you've seen your clients use that to help them stand out in that process.
Yeah, absolutely. So I think it goes back to data. So as marketers, I think that one of the most powerful tools we have in our back pocket is data, but accurate data is the key there. Because I hear that so often from people coming over into the HubSpot ecosystem. It's like, we don't have enough data, or the data that we do have, we can't trust for some reason, right? So I think that's where this idea of having interconnected marketing and sales, but also having data flow in from your website, other online platforms that you may have. If you're a SaaS, even hooking up your platform to drive events down into your database so you can act on specific behaviors or activities that people are doing on your platform. That kind of data is what is really the gold for marketers to be able to power the campaigns that they want to do, that they can understand where somebody is in their journey and then feed them the next step to keep them progressing. You can't do that if you don't have, first of all, CRM, right? The CRM is storing all of the information that you could possibly have, not only with that company overall, but with that one individual person. And that's really how personalization at scale happens, is we know a lot about that individual, right? But the other piece of that puzzle is having all those touch points so that you as a marketer can take a step back and understand what your typical customer journey looks like. And based off of how people are interacting, what they're interacting with, where they might be in that process.
Mhm.
So life cycle stages, we talk about that a lot in the world of HubSpot and
Yeah.
CRM. And I actually see a lot of marketing teams sometimes neglect this if they don't have a CRM, especially if they're not in the same group under marketing and sales, or
Mhm.
if they don't have like a super strong handoff. They tend to forget how to categorize where people are in that process. So that's where the life cycle stages really help. Like, what's a lead look like? When is it marketing qualified? When should it be passed off to sales, etc.? And I think
Mhm.
that's where having all those data points can help to categorize automatically where each contact is, which then again maps back to the customer journey. And that overarching strategy is what really ends up connecting everything in the one platform. So HubSpot is not just a marketing automation platform, right? It's marketing, it's
Mhm.
sales, it's service. It also has other tools like website tools all in one connected with a centralized CRM. So that's really the key to being able to utilize software, utilize data within the software to create that journey and create those marketing paths that do
Mhm.
allow you to your previous point, continue to build the relationships with those individuals in your prospecting pool. And if they're not ready to buy, no worries, right? Like you're still there, keeping your
Mhm.
message top of mind. The goal, like you said, and you could totally talk more about this, right? Is for B2B marketing, it's making sure that you're there
Yeah.
because that 5% of your pool will be looking, but you don't know when.
Mhm.
So
Yeah.
that's really the power of utilizing software, but also utilizing CRM to deliver those messages at the right time.
Yeah. No, and it's definitely it's so important. And one of the great values that you brought to my team when we worked together was setting it up correctly. It's not just a it's so customizable. I'd say there's almost too many bells and whistles. But to your point, it's getting
Yeah.
that tracking in place so that you do know when that prospect is showing behaviors that, oh, they actually might be in that 5% buying window,
Right.
or re- uh, sending maybe different messaging to the target prospect that is engaging with your email versus the one that's not, or opening your newsletters and clicking on links versus the one that's not. So it's like you can create
Yeah.
different workflows and automation that just makes it so much more efficient and effective to be more, as you said, personalizing at scale. So super,
Yeah.
super valuable from that perspective. And now AI has become to play a stronger role in that
Absolutely.
content creation. And again, coming out of Inbound, they announced all of their new AI tools. They actually showed me a tool where you can have a podcast created without you even doing anything. I was like, I'll
I
keep
know,
my
wild, right?
manual process there, but to the point of there's so many ways that you can use AI to improve that efficiency and effectiveness. Like, what have you seen or kind of tested
Yep.
into with those bells and whistles?
Yeah, absolutely. Um, a theme I really like right now is this idea of co-creating with AI,
Mhm,
because
mhm.
right now, like we've all been there. We've tried to utilize like Chat GPT to maybe like help start writing an article
Yeah.
or give us an outline. And you'll notice it's like 99% of the way there, but it still feels fake. Like you can feel it's robotic. People are calling out when they know something is Chat GPT, or we can still tell.
Yeah.
I predict in a year or two we may not be able to, which will be a
Mhm.
totally wild world. But for the for the most part right now, there's still a tell. There's still like a lie detector that we have that's like that's not quite right. And
Right.
so I like this idea of co-creating. So like as simple as using like outside of HubSpot, Chat GPT to create an outline or to get ideas starting,
Mhm.
brainstorming with AI, right? But then within the tool itself, there's so many ways that AI is starting to help us to run faster campaigns. So I think the best use case for HubSpot AI, for example, right now for marketing is the fact that we can create maybe one blog article, or we create even like a prompt of what we want social media posts to say. And with one or two clicks, HubSpot's AI can literally take that one piece of content and duplicate it across multiple different platforms. So it'll
Mm-hmm.
write social posts for you. It'll create like a AI generated video on that blog article. It can do all these little things that connects the entire campaign together from one asset. And I think that's kind of where we're seeing this first wave of AI be most helpful, is in that efficiency movement. We're really looking at how quickly can we do things and how many steps can we decrease from
Yeah.
our overall process to create a campaign faster or to deliver a message quicker. But there's also some really cool things going on with AI on the reporting side too. So I don't want to forget that, because I think that's where, again, this first generation of AI is going to be super helpful, is not only creating those reports, but helping us to drive insights.
Mm-hmm.
Because that's
Right.
where we've always struggled, even as an
Mm-hmm.
industry in general. We
Yeah.
have all these beautiful reports, but then it's like, what does it mean? What do we do with
Yeah.
it? And
Mm-hmm.
so I think that the value of AI today inside of a tool like HubSpot is
Mm-hmm.
efficiency and visibility.
Yeah.
And then in the future, I know we're going to get even better tools that are going to
Mm-hmm.
be able to help us do all these amazing things that we wish we could just do with a magic wand. But I don't think we're there yet. And I don't think we can expect it as a marketer, like in this first wave. But who knows? The second wave could certainly be able to produce content that looks and feels like your company, because maybe it was learning it over time, learning the
Yeah.
voice. Maybe it absorbs all of the content that your company has ever done with video, blog, etc. And all of a sudden, it can create these articles that are really well done and sound like your brand.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's a reality. I think it will be a reality. I don't know if we're quite there yet today, but I certainly think that we can expect that in the future.
Yeah. Well, and again, anything that helps us get smarter, while still adding that human layer, to your point of it will get smarter, but still be in our voice, not completely computer driven or
Exactly.
AI driven. But you mentioned smarter insights, and I think too,
Yeah.
like again, I love that idea, and I use AI for that now. It's like kind of pull out the key takeaways here. Um, One of the benefits today, even as the AI opportunities are evolving, is that you can get smarter insights about your prospects and kind of getting a better connection back to what initiatives are driving conversions or really driving engagement towards that qualified buyer, helping you kind of narrow down your ICP based on who's actually converting
Totally.
and buying. So talk a bit more about kind of the smarter insights and that you can get out of a properly established CRM.
Oh, yeah. So I think that is another way AI is working already inside of
Mhm.
tools like HubSpot. So you can pull things like, tell me more about this specific company, for example, or the
Right,
specific
right.
prospect. So that's really helpful for sales, especially. I've
Mhm.
actually seen it work really well too for summarizing all the touch points and all the conversations to pass off for sales. So almost like
Mhm.
that marketing to sales handoff support. A little bit of a different way of thinking about how that helps marketing. But if sales can work our leads faster, better, more effectively, then the better the likelihood is that marketing is going to be able to show that return on
Yeah.
those leads and on our overall investment. So I think that's really important. But also, I think that as we're looking at AI generated insights, we are starting to get better journey reports as well. So I talked about that. earlier today, but the idea of being able to understand, quantify, predict, which is the biggest piece, where someone is or should be in their journey and what they should do next in order to get them closer to a decision point, or even just a point of understanding your product, your service, etc., and evaluating if you're the right fit. I think that's where AI is really playing a big role in reporting and analytics and insights, is giving us those types of output that we normally would have had to either do tons of Excel worksheet stuff for, or have had hired data analysts who are building these like predictive models. Again, we're seeing a sliver of that today, but I really feel in the future we're going to be able to pull like these data models straight from our CRMs that are going to give us that predictive element to what we're doing, which in the end of the day, that's what we're all trying to do, is just create a predictive revenue generation platform for our brands.
Definitely. Well, and this is so important and so valuable. So Sam, thank you so much for sharing your expertise with us today. I know it's always great to talk to you. I always learn something. So thank you so much. And we look forward to having you on again.
Thank you so much.
I hope you enjoyed this episode of Revenue Boost, a marketing podcast. We have more valuable content coming up, so be sure to subscribe to Revenue Boost, a marketing podcast, so you don't miss out. To connect with me, Carrie Curran, to learn how you can boost your revenue and to listen to past episodes, visit revenuebasedmarketing.com.